In this problem, a function is given and you're asked for the vertex, domain, range, and zeros. So I'm going to start out by rewriting the function. There are actually two ways to do this problem, but I'll start out by using completing the square. So I'm going to replace f of x with y. It's just different notation. I'm going to move this 6 to the other side. So I'm going to add it to the other side and make it y plus 6. I'm going to factor out the number in front, so the 2. And that's going to leave me x squared plus 4x. The 6 is already over there, but I'm going to leave a space here and complete the square in a moment. To complete the square, I'm going to take half of 4 and square it. So half of 4 is 2, squared is 4. I'm going to add a 4 inside the parentheses. So what I actually added to the right side of the problem is 2 times 4, which is 8. So to keep it balanced, I have to add 8 to the left side. Now this is y plus 14 equals 2 times, and since I completed the square, now I can factor this to be something squared. So the square root of x squared is x, the sign in the middle is plus, the square root of 4 is 2. That's the equation we're going to work with now to find the rest of these questions. So the vertex is h and k. If you remember, the formula is, I'll write it up over here, y minus k equals a times x minus h squared, where the vertex is hk. So in this problem, the h is going to be negative 2, and the k is going to be negative 14. So that's the vertex. Okay, it doesn't ask us to graph the problem, but it's helpful to answer these questions by having a sketch or an idea in your head of what this looks like. So we know the vertex, and then because a is 2, it's positive, so we know this is going to open upwards. So that means if I were to sketch it, it would look something like this, right? With the vertex at the bottom. So since it's going to open upward, I can talk about that for domain and range. So domain has to do with what x can equal. So if you think about your graph, x goes left and right. So since you have arrows on the ends, the x's will continue to go to the left and continue to go to the right. That means the x's can be anything. So the domain is all real numbers. Now, since it's opening upward, the range will be different. The range is what y can equal. So if it's opening upward and the vertex is at the bottom, that means all the rest of the y's are going to be above that point. So all the rest of the y's are going to be above the negative 14. So I'm going to say for all the y's, y is greater than or equal to negative 14, and that's the range. For the zeros, I'm going to set the function equal to 0, or I could set the y equal to 0. Either way is fine. Since I already completed the square here, it may be easier to plug in the 0 for this y to find the zeros. So let me do that. 0 plus 14 equals 2 times x plus 2 squared. So it's just 14 equals 2 times x plus 2 squared. I want to solve for x, so let's divide by 2 on both sides, and 7 is x plus 2 squared. I need to get rid of the squared, so I'll take the square root of both sides, and I get x plus 2 equals positive or negative root 7, and let's move the 2 over. So x equals negative 2 plus or minus root 7. Those are the zeros. So I'm going to put that here. Negative 2 plus or minus root 7. For the zeros, another way you could have solved it is you could have used quadratic formula. if you plugged in 0 for the function in the beginning problem. So you would say 0 equals 2x squared plus 8x minus 6, and then use quadratic formula to solve it. You'll arrive at the same answer at the end of the quadratic formula.